Hello ladies and gents, welcome back. In this video I'm gonna give you my thoughts, my voice of opinion about the Canadian Open, the Toronto Masters, one of the preparation tournaments before the US Open. And now guys, the American swing, the American hardcourt season has started. We have the ATP 500 tournaments in Washington that are playing right now. We have a final between Sinner and Brooksby, and after that we're gonna play at Toronto, the Canadian Masters. They play here one year, and the other year they play at Montreal. They switch direction every year, and they share this Canadian Open label between them. And we have Rafael Nadal here, and he's trying to defend his title. He's trying to defend his 1,000 points, and he has won this tournament 5 times. He has never lost a final. The all-time record player who has won most Canadian Open Masters titles is Ivan Lendl. He has won this title 6 times. Nadal is here to catch up and equal that number, but will he win? He has a tough draw. He has tough opponents to face. He has a bunch of great players in this reduced field of superstars, because Novak Djokovic, Dominic Thiem, Roger Federer, Zverev and Berrettini, they are not here yet in America. They are not here to test their form yet, but they will eventually drop in one by one in this big country we call America. But now we are going to play in Canada, and we have great players. We have this year's 5th Masters title. The first Masters in Indian Wells was cancelled due to COVID-19. Then we had tournaments in Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid and Rome, and now we have finally arrived in the American swing season. So Nadal, like I said, is here to clinch his 6th title. Many of the tennis players have rusty swords in their hand. They are trying to shape it up and prepare to play the best tennis at US Open, which is the biggest task, of course, if they can reach that tournament. Not all of these players are gonna play there, but some of them are. And in this video, I'm gonna give my top 4 candidates. But before I do that, I'm gonna go into my dark horses first. And who are my dark horses? To start with, I have Andrei Rublev, the Russian guy with the huge forehand, great serve, great movement on court, but he hasn't been super consistent lately. So that's why I have him one of my dark horses here. And together with him, I have a youngster named Brooksby, an American guy that has played rock solid tennis at Washington. He beat Anderson, Aliassime, Tiafoe and Millman in that tournament before he lost to Jannik Sinner in the semifinal. He has impressed me really much, very much, with his backhand, with his forehand, with his shot selection, with his brave heart on court, with his mental fortitude, with his mindset. I think that he is a name for the future. Put his name on your mind. I will not say he is a Grand Slam contender, but he's a very interesting player. And then we have RBA, who plays his best tennis on hard court. If you know tennis, you know that RBA has a great capacity when he plays on hard court. He's a counter puncher. His ground stroke are like a glove on this hard court. He can actually maneuver and defeat anybody on these hard courts. He has done that through the years. But his consistency level are very low nowadays, so I'm not 100% sure that he can reach very deep in this tournament. We have 16 seed. The top 16 seeds gets a bye in the first round, so they are entering the tournament in the second round. And one of my other dark horses are Hubert Hurkacz, who won the Miami Masters. He reached deep in he reached the semifinals at with the Wimbledon where he beat Roger Federer in the quarters before he lost to Berrettini. He has a great serve, great forehand, rock solid backhand. He hits the ball hard. He can trade duels with anybody on a good day. And I think that if he plays great, he can actually reach the quarterfinals and maybe further. But that depends on how the other guys play, of course, and how he reacts when he plays against them. All right. One of my other dark horses is Yannick Sinner, who is playing a final against McDonald at Washington. Hard courts is also a surface that should suit this hard-hitting Italian, one of the hardest hitters on tour, together with Struff and Bashavili. But they all have one thing in common, and I mentioned that word earlier. It's inconsistency. They are inconsistent. They don't have the level that gives you comfort to trust them. You don't bet money on them. But Yannick still has a lot of areas in his game that he can prove. His serve, his forehand, his backhand, his shot selection, and his movement. His move's great for a tall guy, but he needs to be better on all of those elements. And if he does that, he will be a much better player and hopefully a Grand Slam contender in the future. And then I have a big server like Isner with that serve, with that forehand. On that surface, I think that Isner is going to make a name for himself this year also. He can crash out earlier, of course. He hasn't looked rock solid. He have had injuries. You can't trust him to 100%. But I don't know, maybe. And then I have, those are my dark horses. And then we have a bunch of other players that I would like to just mention, like Aliassime, who lost against Berrettini at Wimbledon. I had him at top 8 there at Wimbledon. It was a long shot. But after that, what did he do? He lost against Purcell at the Olympics, a guy that I've never heard of. He lost at Washington against Brooksby. He's still young, but he doesn't have the mental toughness. There is something missing in his game, and I think that is mental. He has a great serve, he has a great forehand, but something locks in his game when it most matters. So I believe that maybe here at home soil in Canada, him, Raonic, maybe Pospisil can make a good run here at this tournament. All right. Before I'm gonna get into my top 4 list, I have just a couple of matches that I want to mention that are gonna play interesting first round matches between Bublik and Evans. It can end either way there. Same goes for Brooksby against Bashavili, but I give the edge to Brooksby. We have Struff against Fognini, 1-1 in the head-to-head. Struff, hard-hitting big server. Can he take on the elegant Fognini and beat him? We'll see. If Fognini wakes up on the right side, he will surely defeat Struff. And then we have Cameron Norrie, who has taken a huge step this year. He's going to play against the Olympic silver medalist Khachanov. Was this just a fluke again after the Paris Masters win in 2018 for Khachanov? Was this just a good run at the Olympics where he fought for his country, the pride of his country, the patriotic feeling? Or is he as good as he has shown? We will see that in the Canadian Masters. We will see. Khachanov still has a lot of things to prove, for me at least, to believe him as a big title contender again. And then we have Nick Kyrgios against Opelka. He was the defending champion at Washington. He crashed out. And now he crashed out early there against, who did he lose against? McDonald, I think. But anyway, Nick Kyrgios dropped 19 places at the ATP ranking because he was the defending champion. He lost many of his points now. He's at current moment, I think his ranking number is number 61, and if he doesn't start to produce and great tennis and play more tournaments, he will get out of the top 100. Period. He will disappear from the top 100. Now it's time. He has a great serve, great backhand, great forehand, great shot selections, but the problem is here. You all know that. You have seen him play a bunch of times. So, without Novak, Federer, Thiem, Zverev, and Berrettini here, that opens up the draw a little bit for the more experienced players. That give them less headache to think about. And on my number 4 list, who do I think will be in the semifinal? I will give my vote to Denis Shapovalov. They play in Canada. He has played great tennis before that Gstaad Open after Wimbledon. I was surprised that he didn't play the Olympics on that hard courts that were really suited this game. He went on to play a ATP 250 tournament at Geneva, in Geneva at Gstaad. No, it was at Gstaad where he lost to Kopriva, dude that I've never heard of before. That just shows what I've been talking about many times in my video. That's why I gave him the nickname Santa Valov, because he's unreliable, he's inconsistent. You can't trust Denis Shapovalov. But when he plays tennis like he should do, he has a magical serve, first and second serve, great touch from his lefty hand, one of the best forehand and backhands on tour. He creates tremendous power, and he has started to hit the ball much harder lately. And that's due to his training regime. But he still has that problem with the unforced errors, the shot selections, the building up and construct the points is his main weakness. And of course, he likes to take naps during the match and disappear and invite his opponent into the fight when he have the upper hand, usually. So that's Denis Shapovalov in a nutshell. He can reach the semis for sure. I will not be surprised if he does that. But if he crashes out early, that doesn't surprise me either way. He's a hit and run player. I will not be surprised if he goes deep or crash out early. All right. On my number 3rd spot, I have a guy that have played great lately. He lost to Djokovic in that epic French Open final after being up 2 sets to 0. He lost that. After that loss, he had some family issues. He lost against TFO at Wimbledon in straight sets. After they crashed out to Krajinovic, I think that was in clay court tournament in Hamburg, if I'm not mistaken. And then he crashed out in the Olympics against Hugo Humbert. So what is his status? What is his level right now? Since he has this capacity we have seen, he's number 4 ranked in the world. He has all of the tools in his box. He's a lighter version of Federer without the forehand and without the serve. That to be honest, that pretty much leaves out nothing. But he has a mindset, a great mindset. Even though he lost at French Open finals, he's still young. He's starting to get more experienced. But he has quality. He has won his first Masters this year. He has shown that he's competing with the top 5, top 6 boys, this young Greek. So Tsitsipas, if he wakes up on the right side, if he have regrouped him and his team, if he has moved further on and taken those losses to an experience, he will get to the semifinal, but he has some tough tests before he can meet Humbert again. If he wins his first round against Sonego Humbert, and then he will probably take on Karatsev or Kachanov in the 3rd round, and in a quarter, maybe he will take on Aliassime or Cilic if he can go there. I don't know with Cilic. I don't trust him either. So the young Greek has a better draw than much of these guys on tour, on this tournament, but he needs to step up now. He can't play like he has done in the 4 previous matches that he lost. He really has to show the Stefanos we saw before the French Open and during the French Open. If he does that, he will reach the semis. All right, that was my number third spot. On my second spot, I have, who do I have there? A long shot? No, it's not a long shot. Surprise? Yes. Most of you people would have him as the number one here. I take him as the runner-up here because usually when he prepares for big tournaments like Grand Slams and he plays Masters, he can lose. You can take him out. He's not a robot. He's a human after all. We saw that against Lloyd Harris at the Washington. A guy that he can meet in the second round if Lloyd Harris gets through his qualifier in the first round. And then after that, he will probably take on Kyrgios, a guy that you never know. But he likes to play against Nadal, and he has a chance against Nadal, who is my runner-up here. He has played great tennis against him before. So Nadal is my second spot, runner-up in this tournament. And if he gets past Kyrgios, he will probably face RB or Pospisil in the third round. And in a quarter, he will play probably against Diego Schwartzman if he can take him there, or some other dudes. I don't know. It's an open field now because it's hard to predict these tournaments. But I believe that Nadal on faster hard courts, when they play and doesn't give him any time, you actually have a chance. But Nadal, we all know, he's the consistency, Mr. Consistency. He is a guy that never gives away a point for free. He doesn't shoot himself in the foot. He doesn't give away the match. He never beats himself. He has the highest low level of everybody. So if you want to take out Nadal, you sure have to play maybe the match of your life, but you have to play high percentage tennis. And that's what I think that his opponent in the final, Daniel Medvedev, will do. Because Daniel Medvedev, look guys, forget about the clay court season. He did a great job there at French Open. Forget about the Wimbledon. He did an okay round there. I think he reached the quarters there. Hard court is Daniel Medvedev's natural environment. He loves to play hard court tournaments. Remember when he got his breakthrough in 2019? He was a red hot player from Washington all the way until the ATP finals, where he crashed out. So Daniel Medvedev was in the final in Washington 2019, lost to Kyrgios. He was in the final Canadian Open, lost to Nadal. He was in the final in US Open, lost to Nadal. He won the Cincinnati Masters. I think he won at Shanghai Masters. So he is the red hot player on hard court, and that's where he plays his best tennis. Now it's his natural environment. He knows that he is one of the 2-3 best guys on hard courts on the ATP circus right now. But he can't relax. He still has to be a little bit more consistent. Trust me, he is consistent. He has a great first serve, great second serve. He has a great baseline game where he can dictate the game and deliver pace with his unorthodox flat hitting style that will be like a fish in the water on these surfaces that we are going to see in the upcoming events before the US Open and after US Open. So Daniel have a lot of points to defend, but he will do the job. I think he will win this ATP Masters at Canadian, at Toronto Canadian Open. But will it be? Is it with big margins? No, I give him 51-49. He's playing against Nadal. He's here to collect his 37 Masters title. So Nadal is not here to be a bystander. He's not here to just get some practice tennis before US Open. He's here to win. And if he wins here, I think that he will go with the usual routine and drop out of Cincinnati. You never know. But Medvedev, he really has to play on his full cylinders in this tournament, because in the first round in the second round, when he gets a bye in the first round, like all of the 16 seeds, he will probably be face Bublik and then Sinner and then maybe Hurkacz or Brooksby. So he really has to deliver, and in a potential semifinal, he will have to take on Shapovalov or Rublev. So Medvedev's road to the victory, if he's going to lift the trophy, is a difficult road, but he has sure the capacity to do that. But he must play great tennis from start to beginning, because if he let his guard down against Nadal, he will not succeed. And we saw at the ATP finals how he played against Rafael Nadal. He has to take and bring up that game. If he does that against Nadal, he will have a top chance to be crowned as the master at the Canadian Open. And that's my opinion about the draw. Thank you for watching this video. Take care and bye-bye.